settle. This is how we're supposed to start our speeches. This is a very special speech for me because this is the end of my pathway. If you're not a Toastmaster, you might not know what a pathway is, but when we sign up to Toastmasters, we have to choose a different pathway. And usually, I think all of them, they have 5 levels, and each speech has a different purpose. For example, the first one is an icebreaker, and then other ones, for example, focus on vocal variety or body language and etc. So this is my final speech of this pathway, the presentation mastery. And the purpose of this speech is to share with you my experience of my whole path, which has taken me 5 years. Oh my God, it's a long time. I'm going to tell you about the highs, the lows, and the learnings. And I hope I inspire you to become a Toastmaster. Let me start by going back to 2019. I gave a speech in Soho House, Barcelona. Jamie came to it. My very first speaking engagement with 0 experience, 0 training. I just worked so hard giving a speech that was about 15-minute long with a Q&A session at the end. I worked really hard. I really prepared. And I thought, yeah, I'll be able to do TED next year. No way. Soon after that, I went to my very first Toastmasters meeting, and I was called to do table topics. And oh my God, my heart was like this. It was so terrifying to speak for 1 minute because it was unprepared. And I thought, no, I'm not doing TED this year. I need a lot more experience because I really do want to become a professional speaker. So I became a Toastmistress. So let me start with the highs. 5 years of Toastmasters. The biggest thrill for me of being Toastmasters for these 5 years is that these 5 years covered the pandemic. I was living in 20 square meters in Barceloneta. I felt like I was in a prison, and my mental health was suffering just from being in all day, isolated from friends, in a relationship I wanted to end but had no choice, otherwise I'd really be alone. And those Toastmasters meetings online meant the world to me. It was one of the only times I got to connect with people, because in my job as a content creator, it's a very lonely job, so I don't really have that many meetings. So having a Toastmasters session was it was just like having some human contact. That's the first thing I really appreciate is the community. The second highlight, which is amazing, is that I entered, well, first of all, before I go into this, I've had a huge advantage over these 5 years. At some point, I was the only native English speaker in the club, which gave me a massive advantage. But I actually decided to participate in a speaking contest in Catalan. Can you believe it? I never speak Catalan. I can speak Catalan, but one of the, I can't remember, directors from another club, when she learned that I spoke Catalan, she said, please enter the Catalan competition. So I spent the whole week just learning this speech called My Love Affair with Barcelona. It was really poetic. It was about how I came to Barcelona. It was about the honeymoon, the seduction, coming on the night train with 400 euros, and then the honeymoon period when everything was amazing, then the problems, then now 20 years later, the monotony of a long-term relationship, and now how I really want to open up now and become polyamorous with other cities. And it was also on Jordi, so it was kind of like a love story or a kind of declaration of love to Barcelona. I came second. Can you believe that? I just can't believe it for myself, because I beat the Catalans in my category. The winner was a Mallorcan woman, but it was the most incredible feeling. I was elated when they called my name. I didn't believe it at first. It was such a highlight for me. That was amazing. And then another massive, incredible highlight has been going to the summits in Morocco, in Marrakesh, and in Aveiro in Portugal. And it was just the most incredible experience to meet other Toastmasters from other clubs and just travel. I don't think I would go to Morocco or Portugal alone. So it was nice. I usually travel alone, which is the theme of today, travel. And it was just nice to go with a group. And also with Henrik and Jamie, who were my fellow vegans. They did some incredible research and we ate at some of the best restaurants thanks to Henrik's vegan investigation online. Now that there was the highs, let's go to the lows. So the lows. When it was the pandemic, I remember the president at the time, she said, Venus, go online. There's your mentor from a different club in Switzerland is competing in a speech contest. But had nothing to do with the pandemic. So I go online and I watch all of these Toastmasters compete. Everyone was in their homes. And I thought, there was one person dancing salsa, and then there was another person taking her makeup off, and every single speech that I saw had all of these theatrics when they were really talking about heartfelt topics. I couldn't understand it. For example, the woman who was talking about the mask of makeup, after the Toastmaster in question asked her, why did you choose that topic? And then she starts speaking from the heart, which wasn't even part of her speech. And I was thinking, that's what I want to see, not all the theatrics of this over-rehearsed speech. So I started to become a little bit disillusioned with Toastmasters. I thought it was just me, but then I saw an incredible article on LinkedIn about Toastmasters has a problem. And the problem of Toastmasters is all of these boxes. If you don't fit into these boxes, you're not going to win a competition. So I think I did a speech once called, I can't remember what it was called, Toastmasters with a pinch of salt or something like that. So for me, it's not about, I don't want to fill these boxes. The boxes have to, Toastmasters has to fill my boxes. And I would advise anyone who wants to join Toastmasters to really think, what is your objective of joining Toastmasters? If you don't want to do the theatrics, that's fine, because I think there's too much emphasis on that. The people who win the competitions are the ones who are doing all this theatrics, and they're talking about heartfelt topics. And the authenticity, I just don't see it personally. And I think I'm not the only one there. And also, I have a mellifluous voice. So that means I'm always failing on vocal variety, but I hope with my high and low, that's going to tick that box today. So, and then another thing that was a really low point for me, but it was, I believe everything, we learn from everything. I gave a speech in another club, a speech I'd already given, a speech I was very passionate about. It was about the power of SEX, sacred energy exchange, and how the words we use around sexuality are very, very important in life. I knew this speech so well. I'd been rehearsing all afternoon. I'd given it several times. I go to the club and it was an unfamiliar crowd, unfamiliar place. And what is the worst thing that can happen to a public speaker?
Freeze.
Oh my God. Not just once, twice. I went blank twice. And the worst thing, I didn't even know how to recover from it. I just said, I'm so nervous. and then everyone was smiling at me, like cringing, probably really suffering. But I actually put this video on my YouTube channel. I've called it something like, what's the worst, a public speaker's worst nightmare or something. I haven't even had the courage to actually watch it back because it's so painful to think about it. And so I just put it on YouTube because on YouTube I can see lots of people from other clubs around the world have made lots of comments on my videos, which is amazing. I learned a very valuable lesson. This takes me to the third part, the learnings. The most valuable lesson was that when I rehearsed my speeches, I spent a long time, I used to write them out, and then what I used to do is I used to read it out and time it, and then listen to it and then record it and then listen to it on headphones all afternoon, washing up, cooking. So I really knew every single word of my speech. So when I was on stage, all I was thinking of is what's the next thing. I wasn't in the moment, I wasn't being present. And I think that everyone can relate to that. And that's something I've really complained about in this, not complained in a bad way, but I think we need some tips about how to remember and memorize speeches, how to just know what you're going to say and structure our ideas. We don't really get enough support in that area, in my humble opinion. And the valuable lesson that I learned was, I'm going to stop rehearsing. I'm going to stop preparing. I'm going to do the rule of 3. Intro, 3 points, and outro. And reflect the intro and outro. And that's what I've been doing. So this speech that I'm giving you today is completely unprepared. I just did this before, like an hour before, and that's it. And what I've learned from that is that I'm actually enjoying being in this space right now. I'm enjoying being here in this moment, and it feels for me more natural than reciting something that I've learned 50 times, you know? So another learning, ooh, time's going by. Another fantastic learning is the virtue of teamwork. For example, I was not interested in joining the committee at all, but when I knew that we had a small club, I am the VPPR, which is the public relations. I'm responsible for promoting the club and also for organising the meetup. And when I learned that I had to do that just to support the club, I thought, okay, I'll do that. So it wasn't about me, it was about supporting a team, which is really, really important. And Pathways, I only signed up to Pathways because I knew our club would get a point, because Pathways is the online program. It took me 3 years to log in, you know? So, I thought when I knew I wasn't just for me, because I don't care about Pathways. But I saw other people getting their ribbons, and I was like, I'm way ahead of them, and they're getting the ribbon before me. So that's what inspired me to do Pathways. And now, the big conclusion. I have become a professional speaker, getting paid for my speeches after 5 years. I don't prepare those either, I just prepare good slides. But I am so thrilled with this journey that I have made and everything I have learned. And I can tell you, I highly recommend Toastmasters to anyone who is afraid of public speaking, because the internal journey that I have on stage has completely transformed. I feel very calm and I feel very confident. And to end that, I would like to encourage you to start your own Toastmasters journey.